Folks, it is time to ring the alarm. Yeah, that sounds about right. For the Washington State housing market. Stick with me, I'll show you what's going on. Hey everybody, Mike Evans with Blue Root Properties, broker with eXp Realty. Thank you for joining me again on another historic video. Yes, every one of my videos are pretty much historic because I love looking at history in the housing market, especially the last 10 years, to give us a good indication of what potentially will be of future events going forward. And January and February of 2023 was absolutely no exception. And unfortunately, it's not a positive exception. I feel like we are sitting on a cliff ledge and I'm hoping we're going to take a step back, but I fear we are going to get a gust of wind or a gentle push and we are going to send ourselves tumbling over the ledge. And it's like, no, it's not a crash. It's not what you think it is, because in 2008, we were assisted by fraudulent lending practices as well as collusion among the appraisal arena, which we don't have that now. What we have in the state of Washington is a continued shortage, an ignored shortage of housing that has allowed our inventory to remain low while we continue to bring people here, and there are no choices for them. So therefore, we have seen prices drive at a clip of over 9% appreciation year after year after year since 2013, and has brought us to this point. Let's talk about what has been going on in the insanity that has been Q1 of 2023, specifically January and February. And to do that, we need to talk about inventory again. Yes, if you followed me, you understand what inventory is, but for those of you just to catch up, okay? Inventory is the amount of homes that we have currently at this moment that if no other homes came on the market, and at the rate that homes are coming off the market, we would run out of homes in that amount of time. Typically in a balanced market, you would see something around 3 or 4 months of inventory. However, out here in Washington, and especially the places that I service, which is normally Pierce, Thurston, Kitsap, and Mason counties, we are in a perpetual state of low inventory, being around 2 and usually a lot lower. So you get the point, right? So if you follow me, you've probably known that I've been pointing out for the last 7 months, we have remained right around 2 months of inventory. It hasn't increased like a whole bunch of people were thinking that was going to happen. And because we were going to get into this crazy over 3-4 months of inventory, which was going to plummet housing prices. It didn't happen because out here in the state of Washington, our buyer activity is typically higher than the inventory that we have, which always puts us in this state of more rapid appreciation than most other areas of the country. But our inventory in January to February did something very, very remarkable and unexpected. It dropped nearly a half a month, actually over a half a month. It dropped 0.6. It went from 2.1 months of inventory down to 1.4 months. And guess when the last time we were at that level? Yep, it was April of 2020. Guess what happened in April 2020? That's when all the interest rates started to drop. And guess what happened then? We got down to nearly 1 week, 1.5 weeks of inventory, and we were continually chasing our tails with 20% appreciation. So keep that in mind now here as we go forward, right? Our median home price in January and February of 2023 increased about $10,000, but that isn't really that notable by comparison to the last 10 years. But the inventory still dropped tremendously. So what happened? Well, we look back at the number of homes that go under contract, meaning a buyer is out there and they actually found a home they like, they made an offer on that home and the seller accepted it. Now it's called pending. Our average pendings for those prior 10 years in January and February usually amounted to about 3,368.2 pending listings. This year, January and February of 2023, we only saw 3,039, which is a reduction of just a little below 11%. Not a big reduction. We've actually seen bigger reductions. So why the heck did we see such a drop in the inventory? Well, You look at actually how many listings, how many sellers actually put their homes on the market. In the past 10 years, in January and February total, we normally see on an average about 3,811.4 listings come to market. This year, January and February of 2023, we only saw 2,630 listings hit the market. That is a drop of nearly 45% of available inventory that just disappeared. About 1,200 homes never came to market. So what does that mean for us going forward? Think about what's been happening. If buyers are only about 11% deflated in this market, when we're sitting here looking at interest rates of 6.5, upwards of 7, that tells me the buyers don't give a rat's, you know what, about it. So here we are at that metaphor that I had alluded to earlier, simile, whatever it is, the housing market standing on the cliff edge. Are we going to take a step back? It's gonna have to come from interest rates increasing, because it isn't gonna come from inventory. So we need a sizable interest rate to go up to hold down buyer activity and thus keeping the median home price from going up any higher. I unfortunately feel we might see the opposite, because we've already seen buyers don't care if it's 6.5 or 7% interest rate. When it got down to about 6 for that week and a half, we saw some of the highest activity of new mortgage applications hitting the market. If we get to 6, or heavens, 5.5% interest rate, we are going to go tumbling over that ledge, head over heels, ass over tea kettle, and back into what we just went through in the last couple years. It may not take 2.5, 3.5%. It's like that bear, you know, that's chasing you and your friend, and you push your friend down. That's what was happening in the last couple years. Whew. So what is the solution to our dilemma? Because if it doesn't happen today, we're going to be confronting the same issue. I'll probably put another YouTube video out here in another couple months going, here we are again, because nothing changed. And here we are at less than a month and a half of inventory, and now our interest rates are starting to drop. Guess what's going to happen? For a state that is so equitable, or wants to be so equitable and equal and fair, we sure don't care too much, apparently, as to whether or not there's any sort of affordable housing out there. It's pretty much already gone, but why don't we just kind of keep what we've got would be really nice. And the only way I can think that we can accomplish that is to somehow get inventory to the market. Like right now, during times of interest rates being high, as they are, we got to get more inventory and keep continuing to allow it to grow and grow and grow, because in the times that the interest rates start to come down, that inventory will exist and there'll be a whole bunch of more options for the buyers. And then maybe we might see some balance where we don't have 9% appreciation every single year. So what about incentivizing sellers? Get them to come to market. And when I mean incentivizing, money, because that's what the bottom line is. Sellers aren't going to come to market unless they really, really have to, or if they know they're going to be able to make a lot of money. I'm right there with you. I'm holding on to my house until I see something happen. But if I was told, hey, you won't have to pay excise tax, we're going to put a moratorium on it because interest rates go up above a certain number, and the state says, hey, we're going to put a moratorium on excise tax and capital gains tax because we want inventory to grow to be able to keep affordable housing in check. Again, I don't know if these things are possible because I don't know the legalities behind them. I'm just retired police officer and current realtor. You know, I have ideas, I have dreams. Anyway, if you are thinking about buying or selling out here in Thurston, Pierce, Kitsap, or Mason County, or anywhere nearby that, give me a call, text me, email me. I'd love to answer all your questions, and I'd love to help you out. Thanks.